in Astoria, Queens.
And the Museum of the Moving Image is open tomorrow, 10:30 to 5, and all week. From a look back to a look forward, the American Museum of Natural History is thrilling family members of all ages with talk of space elevators in the moon and colonies on Mars. The exhibition, Beyond Planet Earth, The Future of Space Exploration, is described as a forward-looking examination of our future in the cosmos. Curator Michael Shara is here to tell us more about it. Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me.
These exhibitions at this wonderful museum on the Upper West Side, I mean, always so exciting and just so educational. Tell me about this one, the idea, where did it come from?
The core idea was that we're at a kind of crossroads in space. The space shuttle program has ended. A lot of people think that we're winding down, America's lost its preeminence, and we're just not going back into space anymore. Not true. Really on the verge of doing much more fabulous things than even the things we've done in the last 50 years. A lot of it is centered around looking for life elsewhere in the universe, especially on Mars and perhaps Europa, but also on human presence in space and the great robots we're going to be sending into space in the coming decades.
How do you, we're looking at video here of the exhibition. It's a pretty big one, and you organize it thematically. Tell us about that.
It's really destinations. Where are we going to go? The clearest and easiest place to go back to is the moon. Many people think, why would we bother? We've been there, done that. Why would we bother doing it again? Not so. There's tremendous science to be done there, and especially if we can build an elevator from the moon back to the Earth, almost all the way back to the Earth, then we can get to and from the moon much more cheaply and much more safely than using conventional rockets. And in comfort, we could take cruise ships there rather than very confined rocket ships.
And what do we get out of the moon, Michael, besides the, oh, this is what it is, but just some more benefits if we reach there again and do all these things?
In the coming decades, I'm going to guess that the single most important thing to mine there, to extract from the soil, is helium-3. It's a rare isotope, comes mostly from the sun, crashes into the moon, it's stuck in the lunar soil, we can extract it, and hopefully use it in nuclear power plants that produce no waste 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. We'll also use it as a base for going everywhere else in the solar system. There's a lot of water. We've just discovered that on the moon, so it's easier to set up bases. And certainly for going to Mars, there are going to be many, many advantages for building a lot of the infrastructure on the moon and sending it onto Mars rather than doing it on Earth.
And of the other planets, Mars is most definitely the key.
Mars is the easiest and quickest place to get to if you want to look for life.
So to speak. How close is it?
Relatively speaking, the closest Mars ever gets to us is 35 million miles away, which is about 140 times further away than the moon. So it's a challenge. But if you can get there, and if you can get down underneath the surface, 20, 30, 40, 100 feet, you're almost certain to hit water. There's probably liquid water down there. Anywhere on Earth that there's liquid water, there's life. Is there life on Mars? One of the most important questions in science. We want to go there and we want to see that.
What do you think?
I think the chances are 50-50. Honestly, don't know. And either way, it's going to be astonishing. If all the water on Mars is absolutely sterile, if there's no life whatsoever on Mars, that tells us that life here is even more unique and precious than we might have thought. On the other hand, if there is lots of life there, it tells us that life is probably ubiquitous in the universe. It must exist in lots of other places.
Lots of other places. One of the things that you encourage visitors is to get involved beforehand. There are different apps.
Oh, absolutely. And you can also learn more about the solar system, about the other places you go. There is an interactive app, so when you walk by various signs in the exhibit, you can pick up your iPhone and see things in 3D, rotate around a lunar module, rotate around Mars, see it in various dimensions, see the moons of Mars going around it. And there's some terrific interactive games for the kids also. Terraforming Mars, turning it into an Earth-like world, and you start by bombing it, actually dropping powerful bombs on the poles to evaporate all of the carbon dioxide, thicken the atmosphere, and warm the planet up.
I know this is your background and your passion, and kids, little kids, you do build this, have made this so they understand it too. It appeals to all ages.
This is for people from 5 to 95. We want everyone to come, and there's lots and lots of fairly technical material for people who want to read it in detail, but there are also some glorious exhibits that are just so interactive, so intuitive, that anyone will get it just by walking through the exhibit.
Tell me what we're seeing here, this asteroid.
When you walk underneath an asteroid, you're walking underneath what could be the most dangerous thing out there in the solar system to us. We point out that asteroids crash into Earth. The dinosaurs could have known about asteroids, but they never evolved the intelligence or the technology. We have learned about asteroids in the last century. We know how dangerous they can be, and we're starting to evolve the technology to deflect them. So we spend a lot of time telling our visitors about that, and then encourage them to interactively deflect an asteroid and save the planet.
That one, and here's one of the interactive stands for the children.
And that's exactly what that young man is doing. He's either hitting an asteroid with other rocks, or shining a very bright beam of sunlight on it, or bombing it, or doing something else to deflect its course. Try and push it off course so it doesn't crash into our home planet.
Great, great. Interactive, educational, and really has us looking into the future. Thank you, Michael.
My pleasure.
Always enjoy going to the Museum of Natural History. We appreciate your time here. When we come back, our resident foodie, Tony Tantillo, takes us